My name is Kathleen C. Nelson, and I am 28 years old. I am a software developer, and until recently, I thought I had a solid relationship with my boyfriend, Evan Carter. We had been together for 2 years, living in separate apartments, but spending most weekends together like it was already routine, already safe, already something that would eventually become permanent. Evan worked in marketing at a mid-sized tech startup downtown. I had always supported his career ambitions, even when it meant late nights, weekend campaigns, canceled plans, and long conversations where he talked about strategy decks, like they were life or death decisions. I thought that was what love looked like sometimes. Patience, understanding, trusting someone when their world got demanding. The cracks started showing about 3 months ago. Evan became increasingly distant, always on his phone, laughing at messages he would not share. When I asked about his day, he gave vague, rehearsed answers about client meetings, campaign alignment, and team synergy. I chalked it up to work stress. He had mentioned a big product launch coming up, so I told myself he was overwhelmed. Our routine had always been simple. Friday nights were ours. Dinner, movies, sometimes talking until 2 a.m. about everything and nothing. But those Fridays started changing. He would cancel last minute, claiming urgent deadlines. Or he would show up distracted, checking his phone every few minutes, with a secretive smile that made my chest tighten. "Who's that?" I asked once, trying to keep my voice light. "Just work stuff," he said, locking the screen. "Nothing interesting." But his face said otherwise. His face said it was very interesting. I tried talking to him about it 6 weeks before the office event. We were at his apartment, and he was supposedly reviewing campaign materials on his laptop, but I caught him smiling at his phone again. That same private smile. "Evan, are we okay?" I asked. He looked up, surprised. "Of course. Why?" "You've seemed distant lately, like your mind is always somewhere else." "I'm just stressed about the launch," he said, closing his laptop too quickly. "It's a huge opportunity for me. Diana and I have been putting in insane hours." That was the first time I heard her name, Diana. He said it casually, like it meant nothing, but something in my gut tightened. "Diana?" "My project partner," he said. "I've mentioned her before." He had not. I would have remembered. "What's she like?" I asked, testing. "She's great. Really creative. Super driven. We make a good team." The phrase stayed with me. A good team. There was warmth in his voice when he said it. A kind of softness that used to belong to us. Then came the office event. It was supposed to be a celebration for hitting their Q4 targets, held at an upscale restaurant with a private room. Evan had been hesitant about me coming at first. "It's mostly going to be boring work talk," he said a week before, not meeting my eyes. "I don't mind," I told him. "I'd like to meet your colleagues properly, especially Diana." His expression flickered for half a second. Panic, maybe, or guilt. Then he smiled. "Sure, that would be nice." The night of the event, I actually put effort into my appearance. Nice blouse, the perfume he liked, my hair styled properly. I wanted to remind him what he had. Looking back, that desperation should have told me everything. I arrived 15 minutes late because of traffic. The restaurant was dimly lit, all exposed brick, Edison bulbs, and overpriced food served on slate plates. I texted Evan that I was there, but he did not respond. I made my way to the private room in the back, rehearsing casual greetings in my head. Through the frosted glass door, I could see about 20 people mingling, drinks in hand, the warm buzz of celebration filling the room. I pushed the door open and scanned for Evan. It took me a moment to spot him because he was sitting in a corner booth, half hidden behind a decorative plant. He was not alone. A woman sat beside him, close enough that their shoulders touched. She was around our age, maybe a little younger, with sleek hair, a fitted black dress, and one of those expensive watches that caught the light whenever she moved. But what made my stomach drop was not how close they were. It was the hand under the table. Her arm angled toward him, his hand hidden too. Their posture told me everything his mouth had not. He was leaning into her, head tilted as she whispered something that made him smile. Not the polite smile he gave coworkers, the real one, the one I used to believe was mine. They looked like a couple, not colleagues, not friends. A couple. I stood there for maybe 30 seconds waiting for Evan to notice me. He did not. He was too absorbed in her, too comfortable, too familiar. I watched him laugh, watched Diana's free hand touch his arm in that casual, intimate way that only happens when people have already crossed lines before. A woman near me glanced over. "Are you looking for someone?" "No," I said. "I was just leaving." Then I turned around and walked out. I did not make a scene. I did not text. I did not cry in the hallway. I just left. The drive home felt unreal, like I was moving through water instead of traffic. Every red light seemed too long. Every turn felt automatic. My hands stayed locked around the steering wheel while my mind replayed the same image over and over. Evan in that corner booth. Diana beside him. Their hands hidden under the table, like the rest of the room did not matter. I tried to argue with myself. Maybe I had misunderstood. Maybe they were just close because of work. Maybe it was one of those situations that looked worse from a distance than it really was. But my gut knew better. The way he leaned toward her, the way she touched his arm, the way he smiled, like she had access to a part of him he had been slowly closing off from me. That was not nothing. I did not hear from Evan that night. That silence told me more than any confession could have. I half expected him to call once he realized I was gone. I expected a text asking where I went, maybe even a casual, "Are you okay?" But my phone stayed quiet until 1:47 a.m. "Sorry, got caught up with work, people. Hope you made it home okay." That was it. No mention of me arriving. No concern about why I left. No apology. No explanation. Either he had not noticed me at all in a room of 20 people, or he was pretending he had not noticed. Both possibilities made me feel sick. I did not respond. Day 1 without contact turned into day 2. I went to work, came home, ordered takeout, and tried to focus on anything except the memory of his hand hidden under that table. My coworkers asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, just tired. My phone sat on my desk like a dare. I thought about what I would say when Evan finally reached out properly. Part of me wanted to scream. Part of me wanted to ask questions until there was nothing left for him to hide. Another part of me wanted to pretend I had never gone to that event at all, just to give him one last chance to tell me the truth without being cornered. But the largest part of me already knew. On the evening of the second day, my doorbell rang. I was not expecting anyone. When I checked the peephole, I saw 2 women I vaguely recognized from Evan's Instagram stories. His work friends. Perfect. I opened the door, but did not move aside. The taller one gave me a bright, practiced smile. "Hi. Kathleen, right? I'm Lauren and this is Belle. We work with Evan." "I know," I said. "Can we come in?" Belle asked, her tone soft but not really asking. I considered closing the door. But curiosity won. I stepped aside. They settled onto my couch like they had been invited, which irritated me more than it should have. Lauren crossed her legs and glanced around my apartment with barely concealed judgment. Belle sat carefully, hands folded in her lap, playing the gentle one. "So," Lauren began, using the diplomatic tone people use when they are about to insult your intelligence, "Evan is really upset." "Is he?" "He says you've been ignoring him," Belle added. "He's worried about you." I pulled out my phone and checked. 2 missed calls, both from this afternoon. No voicemails. Interesting timing. Lauren's smile faltered. "Look," she said. "We do not know what is going on between you two, but Evan is our friend, and he is really torn up about this." "Torn up?" I repeated. Belle leaned forward. "He said you left the event without saying goodbye, and now you will not answer him. He does not understand what happened." I looked from Belle to Lauren. They exchanged a quick glance. That glance told me everything. "He does not understand," I said slowly. Did he tell you I was there? Another pause. Lauren recovered first. He said he thought you might have stopped by. I laughed once, sharp enough that Belle looked down. You want to know what happened? I showed up to the office event like I was supposed to. I found my boyfriend sitting in a corner booth with Diana, holding hands under the table like I did not exist. He looked very comfortable. She looked even more comfortable, so I left. The room went quiet. Lauren's expression shifted from defensive to uncomfortable. Belle's face softened in a way that made me realize she had known. Maybe not everything, but enough. That is not exactly... Lauren started. Not exactly what? I cut in. Not what it looked like? Is that the line you came here to practice? Belle spoke carefully. You mean Diana? I mean the tall woman with sleek hair, a black dress, and her hand under my boyfriend's hand. That is Diana, Belle said. She has been working closely with Evan on the campaign launch. They are partners on the project. Partners? I said. The word sat in the air like something rotten. Lauren straightened. It is not like that. They are just close because of work. You know how it is when you are on a tight deadline with someone. Things can look different from the outside. Do not, I said. She blinked. Do not what? Do not sit in my apartment and gaslight me. I know what I saw. In my work, when I collaborate with someone, I do not hold her hand under a table. I do not lean into her like she is the only person in the room. And I sure as hell do not ignore my boyfriend when he arrives. Belle swallowed. Maybe he did not see you. Maybe, I said. Or maybe you both know exactly what is going on, and you are here because Evan is too much of a coward to face me himself. Lauren stood, face flushing. He is not a coward. He cares about you. He has been a mess. He has a funny way of showing it. Will you just talk to him? Lauren snapped. He keeps asking about you. He is barely eating. Do you know how hard this is for him? I stood too. How hard what is for him, Lauren? Getting caught? Her mouth opened, then closed. That was the answer. I looked at Belle. Tell Evan if he wants to explain what I saw, he can come here and explain it to my face. Tell him to stop sending friends to do the hard part. Tell him I am not interested in whatever story he rehearsed. I want the truth. All of it. Belle stood and gently pulled Lauren toward the door. We will let him know. After they left, I sat on my couch and stared at my phone. 20 minutes later, it buzzed. Evan. Lauren told me what you said. Can we please talk? Me. You know where I live. Evan. I'm coming over now. I did not respond. I just waited, trying to prepare myself for whatever version of the truth he was about to bring. I already knew it would not be the whole truth. It never is. Evan arrived 30 minutes later. When I opened the door, his eyes were red like he had been crying, but there was something else beneath it. Not grief exactly. Fear. The kind of fear people have when they know the truth is already standing in the room before they enter it. For a moment, neither of us spoke. He looked smaller somehow, diminished. Or maybe I was finally seeing him without the softness love had placed over everything. Can I come in? He asked, his voice low. I stepped aside without a word. He walked past me and stood in the middle of my living room, hands clasped in front of him like a nervous student waiting to be judged. I closed the door and stayed near it, because some part of me still needed distance. I don't know what you think you saw, he started. Stop. He flinched. Do not insult me by pretending you do not know, I said. Do not treat me like I am stupid. His face crumpled. It is not what you think. Then tell me what it is. Explain why you were holding another woman's hand under a table at your office party while your girlfriend stood 10 feet away watching. His lips parted. You saw that? His voice cracked. There it was. Not shock that I was wrong. Fear that I had seen enough. Of course I saw it. I was there, Evan. You invited me, remember? Or was that just for appearances? I did not think you would notice, he whispered. The words left his mouth before he could stop them. The second they landed, his face changed. Horror. Regret. Panic. But it was too late. You did not think I would notice, I repeated slowly. So you knew exactly what you were doing. You just hoped I would be too distracted or too trusting to see it. That is not what I meant. That is exactly what you meant. He covered his face with both hands. Diana and I have gotten close. I felt my chest tighten, but my voice stayed flat. Close. The project. All the late nights. The pressure. It just happened. I did not plan it. What just happened? Say it, Evan. Use actual words. He lowered his hands. Tears had started falling now, but I could not tell if they were for me or for himself. We have been seeing each other. The room went silent. Not quiet. Silent. Like even the walls were waiting for me to react. For how long? He looked down. 2 months. 2 months. 8 weeks. 8 weeks of cancelled Fridays. 8 weeks of secret smiles. 8 weeks of him telling me he was tired from work while giving the best part of himself to another woman. 8 weeks of me feeling something was wrong and convincing myself trust meant swallowing my instincts. I sat down because my knees suddenly did not feel reliable. Were you going to tell me? I asked. Or were you just going to keep both of us until you decided which one you wanted? I did not know what to do. Somehow that hurt worse than a clear lie. I care about you, he said quickly. I do. But Diana and I connect in this way that is different. She understands my work. She understands the pressure. With her, I feel seen in that part of my life. I laughed once, bitter and quiet. So this is my fault. No. I did not understand your job enough, so you found someone who did. That is not what I am saying. It is exactly what you are saying. You are trying to make your betrayal sound like emotional growth. His mouth closed. I stood again, because sitting made me feel too vulnerable. You lied to me for 2 months, I said. You let me show up to that event while you sat with your affair partner, like I was invisible. Then you sent Lauren and Belle here to guilt me into forgiving you before you even had the courage to apologize. I did not send them, he said weakly. But you let them come. He did not answer. That was answer enough. I never wanted to hurt you, he whispered. But you wanted her. He looked at me with red, swollen eyes. I was confused. No, you were selfish. Confusion is not knowing what you want. Selfishness is keeping me while you tested a life with someone else. He began to cry harder then, reaching toward me. I stepped back. Please, Kathleen. We can work through this. Couples, therapy, anything. I will end it with Diana right now. I will do whatever you want. You will do anything except take responsibility, I said. You will do anything except admit that this was not one mistake. It was a choice you made again and again. It was a mistake. A mistake is forgetting milk. A mistake is missing a turn. An affair is not a mistake. It is a series of decisions. You chose the late nights. You chose the secret messages. You chose the hand under the table. You chose to bring me into a room where you were already acting like someone else's boyfriend. His face twisted. I love you. No, you do not. He froze. If you loved me, you would have ended things before starting something with her. If you loved me, you would not have humiliated me in front of your entire office. If you loved me, you would not have let me stand there hoping I was wrong. I never meant for you to find out like that. How did you mean for me to find out? He said nothing. Exactly. I walked to the hallway closet and pulled out the small box of things he kept at my place. A hoodie. A charger. A paperback he had never finished. I set it by the door. I need you to leave, I said. Please, do not do this. We are done. Take what you need from here now. Anything else, I will leave in a box outside tomorrow. Do not call me. Do not text me. Do not send your friends. He stood there for another long moment, mascara free but still ruined, his hands trembling at his sides. I really am sorry, he said. I know, I replied, but sorry does not erase 2 months of lies. He picked up the box. At the door, he turned like he wanted me to stop him. I did not. When the door clicked shut behind him, I stood in the middle of my living room listening to his footsteps fade down the hallway. I expected to collapse. Instead, I felt tired. Just tired. 3 weeks later, I had blocked Evan on everything. His number, his Instagram, his email, every little digital doorway he might use to crawl back into my life with another apology dressed up like growth. At first, he tried reaching out through mutual friends, long messages I never read, voice notes I deleted without pressing play, carefully worded paragraphs that began with, "I know I hurt you," and always somehow ended with why he had been lonely, confused, pressured, or scared. I made it clear to everyone that I had nothing to say to him and no interest in receiving his excuses secondhand. Lauren and Belle never contacted me again, which was fine by me. Whatever guilt they carried, they could keep it. They had come into my apartment to protect the wrong person, and I had no room left in my life for people who confuse loyalty with enabling. The first week was the hardest. I kept expecting Evan to show up, not because I wanted him to, but because some part of me had grown used to emotional, unfinished business. I kept expecting one more dramatic knock, one more message, one more attempt to make me responsible for soothing the pain he caused himself, but he did not come. I packed the rest of his things into 2 boxes, clothes he had left over weekends, a toothbrush, his favorite hoodie, a couple of books, a phone charger, a mug he once joked was basically his because he used it more than I did. Ordinary objects suddenly turned into evidence of how much space he had occupied in my life without ever fully respecting it. I left the boxes outside my door while I was at work. When I came home, they were gone. No note, no final message, just empty porch space where 2 years had been reduced to cardboard. The quiet after that was strange. Not peaceful at first, just quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you hear every thought you had been avoiding. I found myself remembering small moments I had brushed aside. The way he angled his phone away from me. The way his answers became too smooth. The way he said Diana's name with a warmth he no longer used for mine. The truth was, I had known before I knew. I just did not want to be the girlfriend who questioned everything. I did not want to be jealous, suspicious, controlling. I wanted to be mature, trusting, secure. But there is a difference between insecurity and instinct. I learned that too late. Last week I ran into one of Evan's old roommates at the grocery store. I was in the produce section trying to remember if I needed onions when she appeared beside me. "Kathleen," she said awkwardly. I turned and recognized her. Maya. She had lived with Evan years ago, before I met him, and we had seen each other at a few parties. "Hey," I said. "How are you doing?" "Fine," I answered, which was mostly true. She shifted her basket from one arm to the other. "Listen, I heard what happened with Evan and Diana. I'm really sorry." I nodded, not sure what to say. "For what it is worth," she continued, lowering her voice, "I never liked Diana. She always seemed too smooth, like she was performing even when nobody asked her to." "They are together?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. Maya hesitated. "Yeah, it is all over social media. Like they have been dating for years. Honestly, it is kind of gross how public they are being." For a second, I felt the old pain rise. Not sharp exactly, but familiar. A bruise pressed by accident. Then it faded. "She made her choice," I said. Maya touched my arm gently. "You deserved better. Everyone knew you were good to him." After she left, I finished my shopping and went home. Later that night, against my better judgment, I looked at one of Evan's public posts through a browser. He and Diana were at some rooftop bar, his arm around her waist, both of them smiling with that filtered perfection that makes betrayal look like romance if you do not know the backstory. They looked happy. They looked like they belonged together. I closed the page, deleted the browser history, and ordered pizza. The thing is, I was doing okay. better than I expected, honestly. Some days were harder than others, but I was sleeping better than I had during those last few months with him. No more wondering why he was distant. No more decoding every tone shift. No more pretending I did not notice when his body was in the room and his mind was somewhere else. No more competing for attention in my own relationship. A coworker asked me if I would consider dating again soon. I told her maybe in a few months. Right now, I was focused on remembering what it felt like to not be anxious all the time, to not wonder if I was enough, to not stand in someone's life like a placeholder while they auditioned someone else. Then, 2 months after everything ended, I got a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, but something made me open it. This is Diana. I think we should talk. I stared at the message for a long time. Then another came through. Evan does not know I am reaching out. I just thought you should know things are not working out with us. He talks about you constantly. I think he made a mistake. I read it 3 times and felt absolutely nothing. No satisfaction. No anger. No joy. Just a detached curiosity about what she expected me to do with that information. Was I supposed to comfort her? Warn her? Take him back so she could feel less guilty about losing the prize she thought she had won? I typed back, "That is not my problem anymore. Do not contact me again." Then I blocked the number. The old me would have agonized over that message. She would have wondered if Evan regretted it, if maybe he still loved me, if maybe his affair had been some terrible detour and we could rebuild what he destroyed. But I am not that woman anymore. Evan showed me who he was in that restaurant booth. Diana showed me who she was by sitting there with her hand in his while knowing he had a girlfriend. And I finally believed what was right in front of me. I do not care if things did not work out between them. I do not care if he talks about me constantly. I do not care if he regrets choosing her after realizing betrayal does not magically become love just because you post it online. I know what I gained. Self-respect, peace of mind, the ability to sleep without wondering what truth is hiding under a table, and the absolute certainty that I will never waste another day on someone who treats me like an option.